I joined this campaign around 4 or 5 years ago. Actually, I'm going on to my 5th year. Wow, time flies by so fast. It's crazy. And, when I got introduced to this, I did not really know what I was getting myself into. Like a lot of us probably in this room, am I right? Right, a lot of us, especially being young, I was like, what is this, What are they trying to make me sell? Right, that was my first thought. And, but once, I sat down, I listened to the education, I noticed that, wow, this education I was never taught either in school or the family, and that's actually one of the reasons, and I realized that was one of the reasons why my family had struggled the past 23 years in this country, right? So I'm not going to share everything with you until the end, right? For right now, I really want to share with you exactly, who we are as a campaign, because right now this morning we heard a lot about the compensation, we heard a lot about, how this business operates in terms of, how much money we make and what a contract we have. And those numbers sometimes, if you're somebody new, like I was 5 years ago, it kind of gets you all crazy. And what is that, right? What's 65? What is a TA? What is an A? But, one thing that I did understand when I joined this was that my coach told me, look, Alex, you don't have to be the most talented person here. You don't have to be the most intelligent person here. You don't even have to have experience in this industry, right? But you do need to do one thing, right? Which is preach with example, right? Not only be here, we're here to have financial freedom, make money, right? I'm pretty sure we're all here for that, right? Like we said, we all want to be that sexy, right? like we mentioned. But, that's something that really impacted me because, everywhere I went and everywhere I went in this country, in this society, they would always applaud me whenever I would spend. Am I right? They would applaud me whenever I would buy the new Jordans, the latest iPhone, right? The latest clothes. And that was my way of thinking. That was my building wealth, right? I was building wealth by accumulating a bunch of liabilities. So, when I heard about this education, I'm like, wow, this is truly incredible, right? Because we don't really understand this stuff, and sometimes when we start to learn it, we've already committed a lot of mistakes in our life. So, I want to share with you who we are as a campaign. If we can have, okay, perfect. So first of all, I heard a lot today, the old industry, new industry, and when I got introduced into this, the campaign was fairly new, right? I joined in 2016, the workshops were barely coming out, and I did not know what I did not know. I did not know that there was an old industry. I grew up in this new industry, right? But, something that I realized was that in the beginning, something that stopped me and limited me was that I was like, do I really have to sell insurance? Do I really have to be a salesman? Right? Do I really have to be over there trying to convince people to buy something they don't even understand? Because that's the way I saw it at first, And I remember I told my mom, because my mom was the one that introduced me into this campaign. And I told her, I'm like, Mom, really? I'm like, not one of your businesses, right? Not one of your multi-level businesses that you're trying to get me into. Not another one of your, schemes. Because honestly, my mom always tried to find the best way to give me the best lifestyle in this country. And the way that she thought was the best way was, through those make money now schemes, right? Like invest now and you're gonna make millions. So that's the first thing I told my mom. I'm like, Mom, first of all, I do not want to sell insurance. I don't want to be trying to convince people, right? So let me explain to you that, the old industry would focus mostly on that, right? The old industry, the old financial industry is more sales oriented. So that's why, we have a different way, a different model to look at this industry. Are you guys ready for this? Yeah. Yes? Okay, awesome. So the financial products, yes, they're important, right? Because that's how we help people find the solution for their financial needs. But like I mentioned earlier, right? My coach told me, by the way, my coach, you guys know him, Diego and Alejandra, right? Awesome campaigners. And they told me, look, Alex, if you're going to start in this industry, in this new industry, you have to understand that first you have to apply what you're preaching. Right? If you're not applying what you're preaching, it doesn't matter what, plan you give a person, what product you sell them, the most amazing money they're going to make, a person is not going to really believe you, right? Because you see, we're entering into this new world, this new era, where there's a lot of information out there, right? There's a lot of experts out there, right? And this world does not need any more experts, right? This world needs people that are real. people that are actually applying what they're saying. And that's, that's one of the things that it was hard for me because I was one of the biggest spenders, right? I would like I said, I would make some good money, but then I would spend it all, right? So when my coach told me, can you at least save $5 a day? I was like, I guess, It's like, just stop buying that Starbucks coffee, start saving it. That's $150 a month. Right, so I'm like, okay, I'll start saving that. So that was my first FFIU all I got, right? I started saving $150, into that account. So I started with that, but trust me, it was not easy for me, right? Because I had to build a habit, right? Workshop 1, it's all about building habits, am I right? So I had to start with myself. I had to be first a student, right? So that's why I love what we do, because first we start as a student, and obviously, right, we do it with financial education. You see, the reason why my family had been, struggling financially, living paycheck to paycheck, was because we did not have financial education. We were only taught to work hard, right? My Latino community is one of the hardest working communities out there in this country, right? Am I right? Any Latinos in the room, by the way? Yeah. You see, and that's actually why I said we need to change. You hear that? I didn't hear a lot of people. Right? I did not hear a lot of people. I heard very little noise from my community. And that's what I saw when I joined this. I'm like, how come we are the biggest minority in this country, yet we're the least involved in these type of campaigns, in these type of movements? Why isn't this education being taught into, my community that does not have these type of free resources? And that's when I realized that, we cannot go out there and just be selling products, be offering the best solutions, right? If we don't start with ourselves, and if we don't start with having financial education be the base of that process, right? And again, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've noticed, at least, in this 5 years that I've been here, that the people that I help with I connect them to the workshops, they live all the workshops, they actually apply what they're learning. They're the clients that usually stay the longest. Am I right? They're the ones that usually are going to be loyal to what we do. Why? Because you did not sell them something, right? You educated them. You see, that's where the new industry starts to change. Because now it's not just sales oriented, now it's education oriented, right? But again, we cannot do this alone. You see, in the first 2 years when I started in this business, it was a rookie mistake. I was like, I want to build my own brand, right? I want to be Dr. Money. That was me. That was me when I first started. I even had a couple segments on Facebook and Instagram, and people were like, oh, Dr. Money, Dr. Money. Why? Because I'm the professional, right? I'm the expert. But I was only 2 years into the business. Right? Not even 2 years. And I was already the so-called expert. But guess what? I realized that people, when I would tell them, hey, we have the best solutions, we have the best education, they're like, Dr. Money, who? Right? like, what are you going to teach me? You were a dancer before, right? For those of you who don't know me, I love dancing. That's my passion. That's my the thing that I love besides this campaign. And the people are like, what are you going to teach me? You're a dancer. You don't know anything about financial education, right? That's why we are part of communityship, right? That's why I could not do it alone. I realized that I could not help 30 million families out there. You know what? Let's make it even based on my own mission. I cannot help, 10 million Latino families out there, right? If I don't have a community that's backing me up. And that's one of the things that I also realized, that we are not in this alone. So if you think that you're new and you're here for the first time, or you're like, man, I don't know if I can do this, right? I don't know if I have the right tools, if I have the right talents, if I have the right whatever to make it in this business. But let me tell you something. You have a communityship that's going to back you up. You have the experts like Victor Salvador, like Alicia Wynn, right? Like my coach, Harley Explorers, Diego Alejandra, right? That they already lived the process. They're going to be with you every step of the way. And I realized, and I've learned that in these past 5 years, that the more I give to the community, the more the community gives to me. And the more I put into the community, I know that the day tomorrow, if I happen to get some type of illness, if I happen to, have some type of family emergency, I know that the community is going to be there, doing the workshops, doing the BPMs, doing things that I would normally have to do on my own. And you see, that's why when I joined this, I was like, okay, at first I didn't understand. But again, it's a process. So if you're new here and you still think that you're only here to sell insurance or to sell investments, it's okay. You're going to learn through the process just like maybe I did, right? But let me tell you something, that we do sell financial products and services, but most importantly, we offer financial education and communityship. So duration 1, right? 150 times 12 months, 1,800. That was 2017, right? I was doing this part-time. I was still, dancing, doing quinceañeras and things like that. So I was doing that good stuff. And I was doing this part-time, but guess what? The first year, I know it may not seem a lot to a lot of you because I know a lot of you save a lot more, but to me, that was the best $1,800 that I invested in my life, all right? Why? Because that built me a habit. That started breaking those chains that for generations I was dragging. Because you see, I did not have a habit of saving because my mom did not have a habit of saving. And my mom didn't have a habit of saving because my grandma didn't have a habit of saving. And the list goes on and on. So for me, those 1,800s represents way more than just saving. For me, those 1,800 represents me breaking those chains for my generations to come. You see, the second year, I became sick. Thank you. The second year, I actually made my I earned my $50,000 watch, right? So again, 10%. I always try to do 10% of what I would make, always, right? So I ended up saving $5,000 the second year, from $1,800 to $5,000. And I know maybe a lot of you are like, so what, right? I save that every month, probably. Yeah, but for me, that was like the biggest accomplishment. Now, my third year, right? Again, slowly but surely, I'm starting to increment, right, that habit. 2020, pandemic happens, right? A lot of people, no, you know what? Let's stop saving. Let's start asking for money, right? Stimulus check, right? Waiting for that stimulus check to hit in. Guess what? When people were waiting for those $1,200 to hit in, I was waiting for me to put more money into my accounts, right? So 2020, I was able to put in $9,000 into this account to a point where I couldn't put any more. So guess what? I opened up 2 more accounts, right? So now, I am protected for $2 million right now, right? Which, again, I'm still single, right? I don't have kids, so $2 million for right now is okay, right? But